No, just very few homes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, we've
But,
got at least 5 members here, and looks like Linda
good.
is signing on. And I got an email from Lloyd that he would be joining about 5:15, so he'll be joining us at sometime soon. So let's go ahead and start the meeting. First thing is minutes.
Should we call the meeting to order?
Oh, sorry. Should we call the meeting to order? Sure, 5:05 p.m.
Okay,
Thank you, Janet.
You know, technically, since you're on Zoom, you need to do a roll call.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. What do we do as other members sign on?
You can just acknowledge that they've signed on.
Oh, okay. All right,
all
Janet.
right. Okay, Mary Beth. What do I'm asking them if we.
I'm here.
Just if people are here.
Yeah, but I'm just asking them if we should start the meeting, right?
No, I think you just
No.
need to ask them to acknowledge their presence.
Present.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Meryl,
just like in school.
Meryl, are you present? Jean, are you present?
Jean.
Karen, are you present?
Yes, here.
Linda, are you present? And Beth is a guest, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, is that it? I think that's it.
Okay. So minutes. Thank you, Linda, for that little tip.
Karen had some changes to the minutes that were structural. And I think she sent them to everybody. So I asked that she just at this meeting, just say to accept those changes, and I'll just
Actually,
Yeah.
Janet, I only sent them to you and Jean just because
Oh.
I wanted to clarify if
Oh,
that was
okay.
legitimate, but I can read off what I
Yeah,
have.
yeah, go ahead.
So I don't have, so what I was proposing was in the, I honestly don't have the full minutes in front of me, but the first the paragraph starting Dory Kehoe spoke as follows about the upgrades and status, blah, blah, blah. I was suggesting we change it to Dory spoke as follows about safety concerns related to this section of the Bruce Freeman Rail Trail, which passes through Junction Park. And then Monday night, the selectmen will vote on Bruce Freeman Rail Trail. Janet had a question about what they were voting on. So the vote was whether or not to accept the report that was submitted by the Rail Trail Advisory Committee, which provides long and short-term proposals for conceptual redesign of Junction Park to ensure safety to all users of the park.
So Jean, if we accept these, so I move that we accept these changes.
Right.
Okay, and then Jean can just make them on her minutes and send them off. Nobody has to. We don't have to go through the thing of sending them out again.
The one other change was that the rail trail made recommendations, including an entrance for bikers. The minute said from Mandrioli Park, it should be from Junction Park.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all. Thank you.
Okay.
And Jane can just make those changes and send it out.
Okay, I can.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Okay, so membership. Oh, wait, we didn't vote on the minutes yet. Sorry. You have to
Okay,
call.
all those in favor of the minutes, shall I take a roll call?
Yeah, you have to take a roll call.
Meryl,
Yes.
Jean,
Yes.
Karen,
Yes,
we're ignoring Linda, right?
Right.
Ignoring Linda, okay, Janet, yes. Mary Beth,
I'm going to say yes, though I was not there, so, but I
okay, just, okay,
still vote to accept them, I think.
okay,
Okay.
okay, minutes approved with corrections.
Okay.
Okay,
So membership. So Bob Andrews who you may recall, he was one of the gentlemen from the Hard of Hearing group that came to talk with us a couple of times. He has agreed that he would like to join the commission.
Great.
And since that is a disability community that we don't have represented right now, that really makes some sense. So Linda, are you able to propose that at your next meeting?
We can.
Okay, thank you.
And
And
you did say Bob Andrews, is it?
Yes, Bob Andrews.
Yeah, great. Okay.
And I called Jeff Dugan at the Mass Office on Disability again to get that question clarified about your voting status, Linda, and I haven't heard back from him. So, I mean, maybe he's on vacation, who knows?
Okay.
So that's the news on membership. We have a new assistant town manager, Kelly Hebert. I really kind of expected her to be here tonight, but maybe something came up. I haven't heard back from her. She's quite interested in the commission. In fact, Kelly and Linda came over to meet with me, 3 weeks ago, maybe.
Mhm.
And we talked a lot about the commission and what we were doing and the role and so forth. So, you know, it's delightful to see a new person in that position because it was unfilled for a little while, and to have somebody who seems you know, very outgoing and energetic, and hopefully will be connecting with us a little more regularly. Mary Beth.
So you said she's the new assistant town manager. Does that automatically mean she's also the new ADA coordinator?
I don't know if it automatically means that, but she has been named the ADA coordinator.
Okay, I see. Okay.
So if we don't see her tonight, I will, I'll reach out to her before our next meeting and just make sure, you know, that we're really interested in having her come and having her attend regularly so that we can connect better with the town. Although I have to say, Linda, you've been doing a fabulous job. Thank you.
Just picking up the details here.
Thank you. So we have a speaker tonight. We have Beth Williams with us, who is, I hope I got your title correct, Tourism and Economic Vitality Manager for the town.
For the town, I assume.
Yes. Yes, economic vitality and tourism manager.
Okay, flip it.
If you want that for your documentation.
Say that again. Say that again, Mary Beth. Beth.
Economic vitality and tourism manager.
Okay.
It's a mouthful, I know. Well, thank you guys for having me. Jean asked me to come tonight after I gave a presentation to Rotary last week. To give you an overview of what's happening in tourism with a specific slant, obviously, to your committee's needs and interests. I do have a PowerPoint. I don't know if I'm able to share the screen.
Let's see. I think these are set up so everyone can share the screen. You could give it a try.
All right.
Oh,
Yes.
there we go. Yay.
Oh, you're as surprised as I am. I'm probably more surprised than you that I got this to work. So I think this, is it full screen for you guys on your end?
Well, we see the little slides down the edge as well. So you might want to do slideshow.
Let's, yes, I'm gonna put it in that mode right now. Let's see. It's thinking about it. Hold on, from the beginning. How's that?
Yes.
All right.
It skipped ahead one.
There we go.
There we go.
Thank you for your patience. I'll keep this a little bit brief, and then if you have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. So I am the Economic Vitality and Tourism Manager, and I'm the first tourism professional that has been hired by the town of Concord in 2019. So next month makes my 3rd anniversary. And I don't, again, know how much exactly you know about tourism, but we see over 1 million visitors annually, and the tourism financial output is $72 million, which is equal to about 30% of the town of Concord's revenue, which is a pretty substantial number.
That's amazing. It really is. Wow.
It really took my breath away.
I had to
I
go,
had
I
no
had to
idea.
go look for some paper. Can you repeat that again? I was taking notes on my computer and the
Sure.
screen lost the computer. How much?
Or
Yeah.
maybe, Beth, if you wouldn't mind sending your slide deck afterwards.
I certainly can, very easy.
Yeah, then
Oh.
Janet can use that to pull off info for the minutes.
Yeah, we were just saying that the economic impact of tourism for Concord is $72 million a year,
Oh, I see
which
it. Okay.
is an incredible amount of money. When I got here in 2019, one of the parts of my job that I found really lacking was any data to back up how many people are coming here, what they contribute to the economy. So I was lucky enough to get a grant. It's called a technical assistance grant from MAPC. And we had an economic impact study done for Lincoln, Lexington, and Concord together. And that's where this came from. And that study is published. It's a fantastic resource. It's really meaty, but it gave us a lot to start with to really put some actual data behind what we envisioned anyway in ourselves. So, and I was hired directly out of the Envision Concord 2030. So I oversee the visitor center as part of my job. I have a staff of 17 licensed tour guides, and we staff the concierge desk daily, April through November, plus holiday throughout the summer, holiday throughout the winter. We do a daily 1 o'clock tour. And then because I'm a year-round employee, I'm open year-round for public tours, private tours, bus tours, special events. And obviously, somewhat importantly, we host the public bathrooms, we host the water fountain, and we host brochure racks that are accessible year-round. We are very privileged to have our bike share back this year, including the purchase of 2 new adaptive bikes that the town now owns. We were able to purchase those through a grant from Shared Streets from the Mass DOT. And some of the tours that we run are an Indigenous Peoples tour, an African American Women of Concord. I created a chocolate tour, which we ran in the winter. It was a lot of fun. We do some family-friendly tours, a cemetery tour, and then we take historical presentations on the road, which is new to us. We have a program called Between Us Sisters, which is a historical conversation between Louisa and May Alcott that was written by 2 of my staff. And we are taking that to places that can't travel to us. So senior centers, we've done Newbury Court and Concord Park, and we are doing the Concord Public Library in a few weeks, and then the Cary Memorial Library in Lexington. And that's just been a wonderful addition to the repertoire. It allows us to take our stories out on the road and really reach those people that can't take a walking tour. And I know Jean will probably say you're most interested in the trolley and the shuttle. So we began operation July 2nd, and it runs 9 to 4, 7 days a week. It is not a trolley, it is a shuttle, because we wanted to get this program up on its feet quickly. And that was what was available. And we did not want as a community to purchase a vehicle. So right now, the electric and hybrid trolleys are just coming on the market. So we are holding out hope that those will be available in time for us to procure funding for future years. So we are running it all the way through the end of Veterans Day week, which is November 15th. And it is ADA compliant. It has a lift and the staff are trained. We purposely chose to hire a company called Joseph's, which operates the Liberty Ride in Lexington. They are fully trained, they're insured, they're drive safe, they have all of their appropriate liabilities, and they handle all of the maintenance. So it's really a turnkey system. And it makes stops every day. It runs about an hour for each ride. National Park, it stops at both train stations in Concord and West Concord, the Concord Museum and Emerson's House, Orchard House, and Miriam's Corner. If you go to the website, it now has an interactive map. So you can call that up when you get to a destination, and it will give you a list of walking places you can reach. So if you get to Orchard House and maybe there's a line, it'll say, well, you can also walk over to Emerson's house. And it was created by Erin Stevens, has a fellow working for her this summer, and he created that. And we are doing visitor-based surveys. And so far, everybody has said 100% satisfied and they really like it. We are pursuing funding for future years in a couple of different ways. One is what's called a FLAP grant, which is through the Federal Land Access Program with the National Park and our partners in Concord and Lexington and Lincoln. And that is submitted. It was submitted August 1st. And if funded, it will really help us have multiple vehicles running multiple routes and really be able to take this project to a next level before the anniversary of the 250th. Here is a sample.
Beth, can I
Yeah,
ask
ma'am.
you to just take a pause for just a quick minute?
Of course.
I want to acknowledge that Lloyd Price has joined the meeting. And,
Hi, Lloyd. I'm Beth Williams. It's nice to meet you.
okay, go ahead, Beth.
Sure. So this is the schedule, and you'll have it, and you'll see there's a QR code in the corner. It runs on a continuous loop, and some people just like to get on it and ride for the hour. That really was a benefit during the air conditioning when we needed air conditioning last week when it was so hot. We had a lot of people just riding for an hour. It gave them an opportunity to see what there is. It does offer pretty close to door-to-door service. It gets you very close to most of the historical attractions. And we're really just thrilled to be able to have this operating this year. And we have a lot to learn. It's a new project for us, but it's pretty exciting to get this off the ground.
I had a question.
Please.
Is there a thought that this in any substantive way would affect traffic congestion, parking issues?
So with a pilot program, we're in a big data collection time. So the hope is, and one of the reasons we partnered with the national parks on the larger grant is to reduce the congestion. And there are some studies that we're starting to be able to put together based on how many people are on it. We can then sort of extrapolate how many less
Right.
cars there are. So yes, we are, as we get more and more data, it will be able to tell us. I've even seen some projects that are running that are able to calculate the amount of CO2 emissions that are saved. So I think that it's fascinating to me how this ties really to so many of Concord's goals, you know, obviously for diversity and inclusion and disability awareness and sustainability. It really checks a lot of boxes. And the hope is that with more vehicles and more routes, we're able to work for employees as well and employers that are trying to bring people in here that might not have cars into the workforce, as well as people that, you know, have difficulty, you know, driving or don't have cars. So it really has a lot of potential, and it's been exciting and a little bit nerve-wracking this first month that we're up on the ground.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have a
Yes,
question. Is there any
Sure.
cost to people who participate, who ride the shuttle?
Currently, it is 100% free. The select board authorized use of ARPA money for this pilot program back in the end of June. So we have a hard amount of money that we're spending on it to get us through this pilot, with the hope that then we have enough data to really go after additional grants to be able to expand the program moving along the lines. And then we do have a little bit of advertising money that's coming out of my budget to support it. So it is being promoted. We did get some press in the Globe. Erin Stevens was really excited that they picked up the story about the trolley in the Globe. And the League of Women Voters Carlin just did a great little, I think it's out there. She sent it to me, a little podcast on the trolley. She rode the trolley one day, which was a lot of fun. So it has great potential, and it's certainly a learning experience. It took a team of 4 staff to pull this off. So it's myself and Erin Stevens and Marsha Rasmussen and Elizabeth in planning. So exciting.
Is there also any cost involved in any of the tours in Concord? And number 1 question. Number 2, have you brought any of your shows to the Concord COA?
So so answer number one, the tours that we run out of the visitor center are charged. So we have, we keep the fee very minimal, enough to cover just staff costs, because my staff are paid staff, they're town staff. So we charge $20, and then we do a family discount of $45. And then right now, all teachers in Concord at public schools and the private schools are all get complimentary tours. So it really helps them learn a little bit more about Concord and the areas they're teaching in. And the second question is, we have sent everything over to COA in hopes that we'll be able to book over there. We're hoping to record the presentation at the library in a few weeks, and that will allow us to sort of create a short video that people can see what it is. It's a little tough to envision. It's a conversation between two sisters. They are in period dress. We got the costumes from the Concord Players. And it's all first person material that they pulled from the correspondence between Louisa and May while May lived in Paris.
Mhm. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I can give you one data point about cars and the trolley. Last Saturday, my wife and I went to the West Concord sidewalk sale
Mhm.
and planning to drive over to Concord Center. And just then the trolley pulled up into West Concord. So we hopped on the trolley and went over and enjoyed the Concord Center part of it and listened to some live music there, and bought a couple of early Christmas gifts. So I think it was very successful, and it kept one very small, but one car off the road.
Mhm. Well,
That
good-
is
good
wonderful.
anecdotal evidence.
Fabulous. This meeting's being recorded, right? So we have this forever. That's really, it's great to hear. And we did talk to the trolley driver for that day to let them know that, all the areas of town were having a celebration and sidewalks. So if we can keep, and thank you for shopping. Lots of people did. It was a really successful, fun event. I'm on the board of the chamber, and that's a great event for us. So I appreciate that. And then sort of lastly, the bike share. So you all know we have 10 pedal bikes and 2 adaptive bikes. The picture of the adaptive bike is here on your screen. It is 3 wheels. It comes to us from Rad Innovations, which is in Vermont. It comes with a YouTube video on adjustment. It also comes with full documentation. Right now, both of them are at the visitor center in Concord Center. The hope is to have one adaptive in each West Concord and Concord Center locations. We did have a problem with vandalism after about 2 weeks. Karen is very aware, unfortunately, that happened, but they're repaired and they're really easy to ride. I rode them. We've gotten some great feedback from people that have disabilities that just make them unstable. They feel, it just gives them more stability. People with multiple sclerosis are finding this a little bit easier to use. And we're really happy. We, the town, own the bikes. I was able to purchase them with the Mass DOT money. So we own them, and they've been a really great asset. So I'm excited to have them in part of the project. Just a little bit about who we partner with.
A quick
yeah,
comment
Jean.
about the bikes.
Yes, ma'am.
We discussed this at a previous meeting, and I think we really would like to see a bike in West Concord as well, particularly since that stop is right along the rail trail, where people don't have to be on the street in order to bike.
Yeah, so Marcia has been on vacation, and when she gets back, she and I are going to go take a walk over there and seeing if we can relocate the whole unit closer to the start of the trailhead, and then put a camera up there to give it a little additional protection. So we haven't had any problems with any of the other bikes over there, so I feel like this was targeted, which is unfortunate. But yes, I have every intention of putting the other bike there. So that we'll have one in both locations. I just want to make sure it's safe.
So just one other question, then I see Karen has a question too. I saw the bike, both the regular ones and the adaptive bike at the visitor center, waiting for the trolley last Saturday. And there didn't seem to be, at least clear to me at that time, maybe I had heat stroke, but there didn't seem to be any instructions on how to access the bikes, or for any kind of bike?
To the left of the bike rack is a full-size sign that says
Okay.
there's like 4 instructions. You download their app, and then you set up an account, and you can do that all ahead of time. It's all on our website, and you can come into the visitor center and anybody will help you set up an account too. I find them pretty easy. It operates both on Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, which helps somewhat with the Wi-Fi connectivity concerns that we sometimes have in Concord Center. Karen, did you have a question?
So, yes, I was wondering if you had any people using the bike at the location in Concord Center. I've talked to a couple of people who ride recumbent bikes, and there was no interest in them. Like, where would you ride it in Concord Center? So is that really, would you consider relocating them both to somewhere more rideable? Like the rail trail seemed like a more logical place to house both of them, but I don't know what the reasoning would be to keep it in Concord Center.
The reason we like to have one in both is because they are available to be used as tandem. So you can have a rider with a pedal bike, and then you can tandem the adaptive bike to it. So we're trying to make sure that if a family comes in and somebody does want the recumbent, I can tell you it has not been rented in Concord Center.
Mhm.
You're absolutely correct. Where the week 2 weeks it was in West Concord, it was rented a lot. And Phil is the one that moved it for us, which I'm very grateful because his wife was able to ride it and test it out. Yes, ideally, if I can make sure they're safe, they are $4,000 bikes.
Yeah.
So
Oh.
I want to make sure they're really protected and don't get vandalized. But if we can move the shelter itself closer to the entrance of Bruce Freeman, there's some more signage going in along Bruce Freeman that is working with our partners in Acton, that might make it an opportunity for us to give it a little more protection.
No, I was just thinking in terms of, space on the sidewalk would be a little awkward, but
Sure.
I'm glad to hear that you're considering a relocation for the bike share bikes. And also, I think I mentioned to you, but when that happens, if they can be placed at the ends
Yes.
instead of in the middle, that would be great.
Yeah, that will certainly help them.
Yeah. And I do have a question about this $1.50 for 30 minutes, because my son rode that bike a couple of times when his bike was out of commission, and he was charged considerably more than $1.50 for 30 minutes. So I didn't know, is there a maximum, or like he was charged $10 or something?
Oh, if he bought the membership, when you sign up for a membership, it's $10, and that gets you 2 hours free every time. So he may have paid $10, but he would have paid that once.
Okay.
So if just because of that amount triggers something in my head, that can be, it is set up to be a flat fee of $150 for 30 minutes. And there's,
okay.
I have a free code. So, but if you do buy a membership, it gives you a lot of extra free time. So I think it's 2 hours free every time.
Okay, I'll check into that. That was just an aside. from
No,
this.
I'm happy to help make sure if that's not right, we can fix it. The company we're using for the bikes is called Tandem, and they've been a really excellent partner. They provided the mechanic, so I have a mechanic on call, and he was able to come out and do any minor repairs, and then he helped us get this one repaired and parts ordered.
Yeah, good. Okay.
Good. And I see Mary Beth has had her hand up, and then Meryl.
Yes, am I off mute? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
So I agree with what Karen said about the bikes being relocated to West Concord. I just think it makes a lot more sense in terms of safety, but I didn't know about that tandem feature, and that's really wonderful, but it would be particularly important to have that for the bike trail. I can't imagine that the adaptive bikes are very safe anywhere around Concord Center, even without being tandem. But once you add them to another bike, and I mean, that's even more complicated in Concord Center. But the original reason actually I put my hand up is I had a question about, is there a website particularly about this trolley or is it embedded in the general Concord tourism website, or
Yep,
how do
it's on the Visit Concord website.
it's on the Visit Concord website?
Yeah,
Okay,
it has a dedicated page so you can access the interactive map. There's a survey on there. There's how to ride it, what the stops are, all of that.
okay, great. I run an Airbnb, and so I'm very I try to stay on top of the Concord tourism features, and so this is going to be very nice. I often have people who ask about coming without a car, and I usually discourage it. But this makes it more likely that I'll say, oh, yes, you can come without a car, without a problem. Yeah.
Rent a bike, take a trolley. We stop
Yeah.
at the train station. You know, we're happy to.
Yeah. No,
you
this
know,
is great.
It's one of the
Okay,
biggest
thank-
reasons. My pleasure.
Yeah. Thank you.
Jean, did you say
Yeah.
somebody else had a question?
Meryl had a question and then Karen, another one.
I just was wondering if there were any tours, bike tours of Concord. Now that there's a recumbent bike, then perhaps other people could see more territory with the bikes.
We currently have one. It's our African American tour, and that can be done on bike or on foot. I right now only have 2 staff that are avid bicycle lovers, so we don't offer it terribly often, but Mary Wren is one and Stephanie is another, and they've done it a few times and it's been really great. We did offer it. We did it as a tour with Waypoint Adventures, which you probably are aware of in Lexington. They actually came, they brought a whole bunch of different cycles, different adaptive bikes, and they're my first phone call if anybody comes to us saying they need an adaptive resource. So they've been a great partner, but they took the tour with her and they really enjoyed it.
Terrific.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay, and Karen?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that my husband and I actually rode the shuttle. I think it was the second week it was operating, and it was lovely. It was great. The driver was phenomenal. We got off at Old North Bridge, and the Robinson House happened to be open that day, so we took a tour, and we didn't tell her, but she came back and found us later. And I was so surprised that she had taken the time to do that. There was only one other small group of people on the shuttle at the time. So I just think she was a huge asset. And my hope is that the schedule could be expanded, because it makes very limited stops in between West Concord and Concord. So if you're trying to get there, like if you wanted to actually spend some time and go back to to West Concord from Concord Center, you're on a kind of limited schedule. But it sounds like that's something you're hoping to expand in the future, so that would be great.
Yeah, our the proposal that we're using, we had a study done by the Volpe Center at MIT, and they actually created 4 routes, 2 north-south, 2 west, east-west, that would have been optimal and allow us to really help that last mile transportation, help workforce, and do a lot more. We're also very aware of the West Concord construction this year, and how long it takes, and we didn't want people waiting more than an hour for each loop. So that was why we did this, again, as a pilot, we have to sort of feel our way. But we would love, we'd love a stop at Baker Ave. We'd love a stop, lots of other places. So I hope so. The more we get the word out, the more we get support, the more we can, write up for more grants and make this happen. But I appreciate what you said, Deborah. Actually, she got a written recommendation the other day. Deborah is the driver on the weekends. And she went back to get another couple as well that wanted to stay and take photos, and she drove all the way back and got them so they would have time to take photos.
Wow.
So,
Great.
we're really lucky. We have some really great drivers.
That's great.
Lastly,
Okay,
I just
Mary-
thought it would.
Mary Beth, I
Oh,
think
sorry.
has one more question.
Yeah,
Sorry.
go ahead, Mary
Yeah.
Beth. No.
No, this may not be the right way to ask. Well, we may not want to spend time on this, but really briefly, what is the chocolate tour?
So the chocolate tour, we ran in February and March, and we left from the visitor center, and we tell sort of the Concord history story like we do all year long, only we stopped at Graham Nuts and we stopped at the cheese shop, and Peter prepared a chocolate Gruyere cheese. And then we stopped at Priscilla's, and then the tour goes through, it talks more about history of Concord, go through Monument Square, and then it ends at the Colonial Inn, where you get Monument hot chocolate and chocolate cake. It sold out in, we only ran it a couple of weekends in February, 2 years in a row. We ran it last year and this year it got picked up on WBZ and sold out 5 minutes later. So
Wow.
it was a lot of fun.
So if you have someone on one of those tours who is a wheelchair user or a travel scooter user, I know they can use the trolley, but how would they get into Priscilla's or the cheese shop or the nut shop?
Those tours don't actually go into any of the stores. We stay
I
on the
see.
sidewalks, and
Okay.
mostly because it's a crowd too. So that way it helps us be more accessible. So we do just use Concord sidewalks.
I see.
And for the Concord history tour that we run every day, we generally end it up in the burial ground, but we modify it it's very easy to modify and tell all
Okay.
the stories right from the sidewalk.
Great. Okay.
I
Thank
would
you.
just add parenthetically that a person in a wheelchair would have an extremely difficult, if not impossible, time getting into either of those places. And that's another issue.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yep, that's true of sorry, my 10-year-old walking past the video. So that was it. I just wanted to give you guys a quick list of partners that we're working with to promote all of the things that Concord does. So we work with our visitor bureau in Boston and the Merrimack Valley, and obviously at the state level, and the Concord Chamber of Commerce and the partnership as well. And that's it. That's all I have. I'm happy to answer any more questions. I will send this deck to Jean as soon as we're done. And I'm here. I'm year round. Come and ask me any questions anytime. Come take a tour.
Thank you.
So I have a question, Beth.
Sure.
Will the visitor center get involved in the in the 250th anniversary? I know Minuteman Park is gearing up for that, and I believe the town of Concord as a whole is gearing up for that.
Yep. So we are, the town of Concord is an official member of the state 250th anniversary commission that's headed up by Mass Historical. So we are full members there. And then I am working on some of the subcommittees for marketing and presentation for the committee.
Okay, great. Other questions for Beth? Karen?
Again, I think I've communicated with Beth about this in an email, but signage, like it would, I think like a more substantial sign might really be something to consider. I know it's on social media and blah, 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 and everybody can look at their phone, but the sign, I'm thinking specifically of the sign in front of or near Woods Hill Table in West Concord. It's on one of those little wire H frames and it's falling over. And sometimes I walk by and stick it back in, but I think it's broken now. So I don't know. I was just wondering. And then also, I don't believe there's a sign on Main Street in front of the visitor center about the trolley, because the trolley stops way in the back in the parking lot. And there are other signs about the tours, and maybe just again for visibility. I don't know what your plan is or your budget or whatever, but just in terms of promoting it, it might be helpful.
Yeah, the budget's been pretty minimal just because we wanted to I was almost afraid to make it too successful because it's only a 14 passenger van, and
Yeah.
you know, we didn't have the opportunity to add to it until, you know, we're able to find additional funding sources. So, but having one on the street's not a bad idea, but it does stop behind, and we have a huge A-frame in the on the walkway beside the visitor center as well. So that's sort of our biggest sign. Concord Museum has a huge sign in their loop. I'm just super aware of how many signs we have out in terms of the historic commission, and I want to be respectful of those places as well. But it's always good to have more signage, as long as it looks nice. So I agree.
Okay, well, Beth, thank you so much for
My
coming
pleasure.
to talk with us this evening. That was really interesting.
My pleasure.
And kudos to you for all of the work that you've done to bring that $72 million of business here to Concord, and to continue to promote the town and all of the tourism opportunities that people have here.
Thank you.
Having
It's
tried it out
amazing.
once, I think the trolley is a great idea.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And, you know, Concord is rich in every possible resource, and I couldn't have landed in a luckier place to be able to move that mission forward and grow the visitor center, grow the offerings, grow what we're able to offer for people of every kind of person and need. And that's really why we do what we do every single day. So thanks very much. I appreciate
Okay.
you having me. I'll let you get back to your meeting. Thanks,
Okay,
Jean.
thank
All right,
you.
take care.
Thank
Bye,
you.
Linda. Sure.
So I don't have anything else on the agenda for tonight, unless any of you do. I do want to let you know that we have Erin Stevens booked for next month for our meeting. She wasn't available last month or this month, but she's available in September, so we'll see her then. Yes, Janet.
How do you spell her name and what is her job?
Sure, it's ERIN.
R-E-O, Aaron, oh,
ERIN, Erin.
right,
Stevens, just like it sounds,
well, V or PH,
with a V.
and her job is what?
She is the,
Information officer.
thank you, Mary Beth.
Information
think.
officer for Concord?
Yes,
Yeah, okay,
yeah. Is she's someone that several of the members have requested to come and talk with us, and we're hoping that she'll help us figure out ways to kind of promote the commission a little bit more.
oh, right.
Yeah. Yeah, Karen, you had a comment?
So I do have a question. I remember, I think it was when Mary Beth was looking for drumming up interest in our commission, and sent out a message on Nextdoor about our meetings being recorded and available on Minuteman Network. The last one that I see that it was recorded was in February, and I don't know who is responsible for releasing those recordings, or ours aren't recorded that way, because like the select board is there every meeting, and the historical commission, and several of the others. But I was just wondering, if we're not even accessible on Minuteman Network, nobody would even stumble across our meetings. So maybe that's a question for Erin, but I have noticed it because I have been watching more of the select board meetings in particular recently. And it's just made me aware that we're not really well represented there.
I can, yeah, go ahead, Linda.
So you're not the only one who's frustrated not seeing certain meetings posted. So this, I think, because of some changes in the town manager's office, I think, and there have been a lot of attention given to just setting up equipment for hybrid meetings and some other things from MNN, from the media. So hopefully this is going to improve for all kinds of meetings. But right now, if you have a specific request, I would make that known to the town manager's office. Mike Gibbons would be the person to contact right now. Or Aaron, and then hopefully they would forward it to the right person. And I'm not so sure select board members necessarily appreciate that we're the first ones up there every week. It's hard enough going through it the first time. Sometimes, but that's the situation. So it's a good comment, and I appreciate it.
Okay.
Meryl, did you have a comment?
Yes, it's sort of a new item that I didn't bother calling you about, but I've been somewhat concerned now that I'm on the other side of Route 2 about using, different resources toward the center. And for the first time, I attempted to go into, and I don't know the name of it, the new market that is,
Concord Market,
what is it called?
Concord Market,
Yes, I believe it's
Yeah.
Concord Market.
yes.
And its lack of accessibility. It does not have a door that opens on, there's no automatic door. The parking is not right in front. There's no handicap spot right at the door. And I had a lot of trouble accessing it myself. And I don't know how it sort of fell between the cracks, but I just wondered if, oh, I'm sorry, this is my daughter's talk. I'm not quite sure what we should do about it, but it must be an issue for other people if it was an issue for me. It's really quite inaccessible. Plus, when they rebuilt it, I did confirm that there is right next to the dog's barking. Oh, what's the name of the drugstore? The
Rite Aid.
Right. Aid.
yeah, whatever's to get there. There is some sort of, I guess it's a nail salon on the second floor that does not have any handicapped accessibility. And I think that was all part of the new construction. And, it's bothersome to me that we just sort of, that whole situation is not, from what I can see, in compliance. I'd like to have someone else look at it and see, if come here, Gracie, come here, come on. So that was bothersome to me. And I also had another question about the little park right at the library, that I don't know where we stand on resolving that issue. Thanks. I'll try to mute myself.
Yeah, Mary Beth, did you have a comment?
Well, I was just going to volunteer to go check out the Concord Market. I have checked out the nail salon. I made an appointment there once and had to cancel it because I found out they were not accessible. I have used the Concord Market, and I don't recall, I only recall their prices being inaccessible.
Yeah.
I don't recall the rest of it, but but I can check that out. I mean, I'm happy. Does that help to have somebody else go out? I don't know.
Yeah,
Sure.
sure. if you would go check it out, that, Mary Beth, that would be great. And
And
I
I'll
can
take
give-
some pictures or something. I don't know.
Sure,
Yeah.
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 I can give Jennifer a call and just verify. My
Yeah.
understanding is that it would not be required to have an automatic door opener.
Right.
The ADA requires that doors open with, I think it's less than 10 pounds of pressure.
Yeah.
But they're not required to have an electric opener. And I'll have to check with her about the, distance from the building to the parking. But if you check that out, I'll check in with Jennifer.
Okay, so it would be the parking for Concord Market
Right,
in terms of the distance, and for the nail salon, I can just go confirm again that, I mean, they don't have any way to get up there
yeah,
on the second
yeah.
floor. Yeah.
And also the lack of a disability parking space, right?
Yes,
Right.
that's what, yeah. The weird thing about the nail salon is it has this really big fancy ramp that goes up to the building.
Right.
And then that's it. It's like a ramp to nowhere.
Oh, we have a few of those in Concord, don't we?
Yeah, yeah.
I guess my other question is really, what can we do about it? What
Well,
action?
Well,
could be taken.
If they're not meeting the ADA, we can do a soft approach. We can send them a letter and say,
Right.
you're not meeting the ADA and you need to fix it. We can do the more harsh approach, which would be for us to take a complaint to the Architectural Access Board.
But to get Ray involved, wouldn't that be more kind of in the middle?
Yeah,
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
So we've got a range of things that we can do.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure. Janet?
Two things. What was it like inside Concord Market? Is it easy to get around inside?
Bring a lot
No.
of money.
Bring a lot of money, yeah.
Except for the money. But are the aisles wide enough for
I
wheelchair
found
friends?
it was okay.
My recollection is that the aisles are wide enough. There's, unlike other markets that have motorized carts, I didn't
Yeah.
see anything
Okay,
like that.
my second comment is regarding the nail salon. My hairdresser, Salon Arte, is second floor inaccessible. There's no way, he doesn't own the building. There's no way he can put an elevator. I mean, it's not gonna happen. He makes house calls. He comes to me. But I would hate to have, I mean, the people who own the nail salon, they don't own the building.
But it's new construction.
It's
And
new
that's what makes
construction.
it
new
different.
construction.
That's
Okay.
what makes it different from Salon
Okay.
Arte, which would
Okay.
have been grandfathered in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. And you're right, Janet. It's not the nail salon's responsibility. It's the
Yeah.
building. And your hairdresser is doing exactly what the ADA says, which is if your business is inaccessible
Yeah.
to people, you need to come to deliver the service or product at a place that the individual can access.
Like my kitchen.
Right.
Yeah.
Might be a little harder with the nail salon. They'd be dragging
Yeah,
a lot
right.
of bottles of
Well,
nail polish.
main escape. I was there today.
Yeah.
Oh,
There.
Yeah.
I just, I have just an idea. I just want to float about when Erin Stevens comes, and that what some of the suggestions for her, which I think she might be more receptive to than, is that asking her to highlight some of the successes in terms of accessibility, like the new Deborah's is great, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
And
fantastic.
also White Pond Beach now is great.
Yes.
And so to have something like where on the town, I don't know, she does social media stuff,
Mm,
Instagram, Facebook, or to have some photos of it. I think the Bruce Freeman Rail Trail is a huge
Oh,
success.
yeah.
But to
Right.
focus on those things in town, which are really, are really great for accessibility,
Mhm.
that it may be easier for her to think about that than to, get behind advocating for places that aren't accessible to be
Right.
accessible. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, we really should highlight them. In
Yeah.
every respect, yeah.
Well, I think that's a great idea. So how about everybody think about also if you have questions for Erin, and I'll send out an email maybe a week or so before the meeting and just ask you to reply just to me so that we don't get into problems with the open meeting law. But, you know, questions or particular things that we might want Erin to try to highlight in her social media posts and other ways. And maybe we could get Beth to do that too.
yeah,
You
that would
know.
be good. Yeah, the trolley would be a good thing to have.
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be great.
Okay. Good deal.
So it's the 8th, September 8th.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
September 8th. And I'll reach out to the new library director because I know there was some question about whether that little pathway, that little circle thing was just a, you know, like a landscape
Decoration.
feature, yeah, decoration, not necessarily meant to be a pathway that would be for traffic. So, but I'll reach out and find out. All right, any last comments? We're just at 6 o'clock.
I'll just say it's so uplifting to hear positive, constructive suggestions and action-oriented steps that can be taken. It's refreshing. Thank you.
Everyone have a happy Labor Day.
Thank
Oh,
you
yeah.
very much.
Thank you.
You too.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, yeah.
I know,
All right.
quickly.
Well,
I
we'll,
will take the roll call to adjourn the meeting.
okay.
Okay, Janet, yes. Mary Beth,
Yes.
Lloyd, yes.
Merrill,
Yes.
Jean,
Yes.
Lloyd,
Yes.
Karen.
Yes.
And Linda, I assume when we shut down, you'll go away.
I'll go away. I'll see to that. Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
We'll all go away. All right, see you all after Labor Day.
Right.
Right.
Have a good
And
rest
you're,
of your
and you're gonna
summer.
find out about Linda's status.
Yes,
Linda adds so much to it. It's a shame.
right. Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye.